Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the new action crime thriller Nightwalk. And this is from writer-director Aziz Tazi, and this film, I'm not really familiar with his previous work. This looks like it's his feature debut. But this film focuses on, it's described as like a modern day Romeo and Juliet, and I'm like, maybe a little. And because like the idea is this American man falls in love with this American Muslim woman, and they're abroad. Somewhere in the Arab world is exactly what this film puts on the screen when they're in the Middle East. And I'm just like, or like, anyway, this is from a Moroccan director. Maybe that's where this is supposed to be taking, but it's a Muslim community, a society, and things go badly, and they use nonlinear storytelling for us to go back and forth to see what really happened. And this man, played by Sean Stone, who, I didn't look into it, but I'm pretty sure he's related to Oliver Stone. He looks a lot like him and has starred in his movies. And this man, Frank, gets put in prison, and he's kind of between a rock and a hard place between the guards, this like drug dealer dude played by Mickey Rourke, who can't even move his face anymore. It's kind of scary to look at Mickey Rourke in movies now, and then this group of Muslim inmates as well, and this film attempts to be a strong Muslim story, and I give it some credit for that. Like, at least it's trying to say something, but it's so heavy-handed and obnoxious at every moment that it just didn't work for me. But this film is so bland and clunky in its direction, and the camera work's all over the place. It looks really cheap. It looks like somebody made this movie for $5. And there's moments where the tone is unbelievably uncontrolled and just ridiculous and cheesy, overdone, and just, I thought I was watching like some kind of, like the sequences where they're showing the flashbacks of their relationship and their budding relationship is so obnoxious with the camera movements, the lighting, the music, the sound design in this film. The sound mixing is pretty bad. Like, people's voices will go in and out and stuff like that. And the whole entire sequence is like, the worst parts of this movie is this laughable romance between Sean Stone's character and Sarah Alami's character. They have no chemistry together. Alami's line reading is atrocious, and Sean Stone's isn't much better. Like, there's one point where he's like throwing a hissy fit, and he is terrible. And there's a lot of actors in this movie that are not good at all. Like, his lawyer, every time she's on screen, Ivana Nguyen is... Her line reading is so stiff and awkward, it's ridiculous. But like this, they're trying to build this tension into the moment that he loses the love of his life, and you can't take it seriously because the acting's so bad. And it's just like every time, even up to the climax where there's supposed to be like this big emotional ending, like the lawyer's like, "No, don't leave." And like the line reading is so bad that it took me out of every emotional scene in this movie. And like the dialogue is horrible. Like, I can't believe some of the things that they tried to have these actors say in this film. The nonlinear storytelling works fine. It's pretty standard from what you see in nonlinear storytelling, which is so interesting because that saying not a standard nonlinear storytelling feels so like such an oxymoron, because it's not what storytelling's supposed to be the standard, but it's so overdone at this point. And like, you know how this movie's gonna play out. Like I said, Sean Stone is really hit or miss in this film. Mickey Rourke is making such odd choices, and Sarah Alami's performance is really bad. Some of the other cast, like just to run through, like Patrick Kilpatrick, who is the like guard, he's fine, I guess. He overdoes his performance. Rico Ross, who plays Saud, he's the strongest performance in this film. And, like, at least I believed everything that he was doing with his performance. Eric Roberts pops in, like, very minimally in this film, and he's overdoing it. Louis Mandylor, who plays the warden in this, and, like, I've seen him in other films, like, he's one of the very few, like, genuine performances as well. And just in general, this film has ideas, it might be heavy-handed, but it has messaging in terms of religion and stuff like that and finding your faith, but it's so overdone and poorly acted and clunky in its direction and its cinematography and how it's put together technically that this is just hard to watch. And I would not recommend this movie. I was not a fan of this movie. Yeah. Unless you are like just, I will watch anything with some action and thriller kind of stuff like that, and you will enjoy anything that goes in that direction, then maybe check out Night Walk. But for most, I don't think there's a whole lot going on here and a whole lot to get out of it. But those are my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.